Hey, what's up guys? It's Nick here, and in today's video we're going to talk about why you're not able to save money and how to actually build a habit to help you save more money or build any kind of habit. So let's just jump right into it. You probably had a moment yourself where you were super excited to save more money and you were like, I'm 100% in this to do this, I'm gonna save more. You told yourself that you're gonna stop spending a lot of money on expensive coffees and stop taking takeouts, and you're gonna actually put money in the bank. You started downloading different kind of budgeting app, made for yourself like a financial Excel sheet, and you were just ready to make it happen. But a couple of days went by or even a couple of weeks went by and you slowly put it on the side burner. You were like, hey, this is a little bit too difficult, I'll do this a bit later. But why is that? Why did you stop actually building these amazing habits for your personal finance? You were motivated to do it, right? You knew why you wanted to do it and you had a plan, but why didn't you actually succeed in it? Well, because you made it too hard for yourself. You see, whenever you're building any new habit, you want to make sure that it is as simple as possible. Most people make the common mistake of making a habit too hard in the beginning. They want to save more money, so they tell themselves they're going to stop spending altogether. They want to work out more, so they sign up for a 2-hour yoga class every single day. They want to eat more healthy, so they cut out all the sugar and only eat healthy from now on. While on the outside, it might seem like a good idea, right? You want to save more money, so just stop spending. Or you want to become more healthier, so go 100% healthy, right? But approaching a new habit like this will only work in the short term. You know, once a couple of days go by or a couple of weeks go by, you start slowly going back into your old routines. You tell yourself you cannot do this, you can't save money, you're not someone who is able to eat healthy, and it's just is what it is. And that is because you made the habit itself too hard for yourself. You put the bar very high and you made it too difficult for you to succeed. So why do we make our habits so difficult for us, especially when we want to succeed? Well, let's go even a layer lower than making it difficult for ourselves. What it comes down to is motivation. Whenever we want to do something new, we're motivated to do it. So you decided to start saving more money, you created this amazing plan for yourself, and you pictured the future, how it will look like, and what are all the things you're gonna do with this money. You got super excited, super motivated, and you told yourself, I'm gonna save all my money and I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna do this. And because your motivation level was high, because you were excited, you were actually able to do it for 1 day, 2 days, maybe a week. You were able to save all your money. But slowly, as a couple days go by, the motivation goes lower and lower, and you start being less excited, and the thing that you wanted to do becomes harder and harder till the moment comes where you actually just stop the habit altogether and you tell yourself it was too hard or you're someone who can't do this. And this motivation versus hard thing to do actually comes straight down from the book Tiny Habits from BJ Fogg. And if you haven't already read that book Tiny Habits, definitely pick it up in your local bookstore on Amazon. It is really a must read. But one thing he talks about is how motivation plays a key role in building your habits. And a lot of people forget this motivation factor when they try to build new ones. In the book, he created a simple graph to explain this even deeper. So when you put a graph in front of you, you will see on the y-axis, you will have your motivation level. It's either high or it's either low. And on the x-axis, you actually have your ability. So how hard is it to do? Is the activity you want to do very difficult, very hard, or is it actually easy and simple? And then in the middle you have your action line. Any action that you're gonna do, either it be a habit or something neutral, it will fall into this graph. It's either very motivating or difficult, or it's like non-motivated but it's easy. So every action you do on a daily basis falls into this graph. If your behavior falls above the action line, that means that you'll be more likely to succeed in the behavior you're trying to do. If your behavior falls under the action line, that means you're going to be less likely to succeed in the behavior you're trying to succeed in. Let's take a simple example of taking the garbage out. So what would be the motivation for taking your garbage out? Maybe you want your partner to stop nagging you for taking the trash out, or you want your house to stop smelling so bad. So would you say that your motivation is high and you're quite motivated to do it? Yeah, I think quite likely. I don't think you want to let your house smell, right? So your motivation will be high on this. So where is your ability at then? Is it an easy task to do or is it a hard task to do? Well, looking at it, it's a pretty easy task. You probably have to just grab the garbage pack together and actually walk maybe 10-15 steps to put it outside. So it's pretty easy to do, right? So how likely are you going to actually do this habit if you put your mind to it? Quite likely, because you're actually in the motivation bracket here and it's easy to do. So it's a super simple task for you to do, which you actually will be able to build this habit up. So this model shows that the more motivated you are, the more likely you're actually going to do the task. And the harder the task is going to be, the less likely you're going to do the task. Motivation and ability actually work together as teammates. And that's what actually BJ Fogg tries to explain in his book Tiny Habits. And this is how you can start really building your habit of saving more money by implementing those together. This is also very true for my own habits and for my own life. Before I actually, educated myself on building habits, I was kind of a genius of making my habits always too difficult for myself. When the lockdown started in 2020 last year, I told myself I'm gonna work out every single day for like at least 30 minutes with like a YouTube video or something. And the thing is, I actually hated home workouts. I was more of a gym rat. I like to go to the gym. I like to be in an environment. I didn't enjoy work home once, but I told myself I need to do 30 minutes a day minimum. At the start, I was quite motivated to do it. So I created my own workout plan. I told me where I'm gonna do this. I bought me some dumbbells. And I was just motivated and excited to do it. The first week I worked out for like 30-40 minutes a day. Even though it wasn't the most fun thing to do, I still did it. Then the second and third week started rolling around, and even though I still worked out, I didn't do 5 times a week anymore. I kind of did two to 3 times a week because I was less motivated to do it. I had other things on my mind. Like week 4 went by, I still did like 2 or 3 workouts a week, but instead of 30 minutes, they started to become 5 and 10 minutes, just kind of working out. And by the time it was week 5, I actually stopped working out because I wasn't motivated, it wasn't fun anymore, so I just stopped working out altogether. It felt more of a chore than something I actually wanted to do for myself. But I still wanted to build this habit because I knew I wanted to become more healthy, and I know working out is part of that, right? So I read a book, Atomic Habits, and they explain pretty much the same thing there: to make your habits even easier, make it as simple as possible. So instead of working 5 times a week for 30 minutes a day and really exhausting myself, I told myself that the only thing I have to do every single day is to work out for 1 minute. And it doesn't matter whatever workout it is. It could be 1 minute of rope jumping, it could be 1 minute of walking outside, it could be 1 minute of dumbbells, just doing some curls or whatever. The most important thing for myself was doing a workout for 1 minute a day, every single day. And if I did 1 minute, that means I accomplished my goal and I actually did what I need to do, and I could feel proud of myself. Because the only thing what was important is for me to show up and do that 1 minute. Well, if you look again at the behavior model right now, you could see that I wasn't super motivated to do it. My motivation was low. So for me to work out, for me to do this habit, I had to make it super simple. I had to put it all the way to the other side and make it super simple just for, making the 1 minute workout for me to do it actually. If you look at it right now, my action step, because it was so simple, it's still above the action line, even though I wasn't motivated to do it. So I started working out for 1 minute a day, and more than often, I really found myself working out more than 1 minute, started doing 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, because I actually just started doing it and I was just in the flow. And this is because I set the bar quite low for myself, working out for just a short amount of time. Whenever I went a little bit further, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I actually exceeded my expectations, and I feel even better because I told myself I'm gonna do this short moment of time, but now I did it even longer and longer. So I made myself even more excited by it. And slowly my motivation rose. My motivation went from super low to like a medium, and I could also make my workouts a little bit more difficult. I didn't really do this. I did keep it at 1 minute a day, but I started automatically doing it for 10, 15, 20 minutes, even though I kept my habit at 1 minute. That was the only goal. And yeah, I had some days that I still just did 1 minute. I literally, had maybe a bad day or something happened. So I told myself, if these days are there, what I have to do is just working out 1 minute. But because I built this habit every single day and I worked out for the last, weeks and weeks and weeks, it was not a problem. And working out is just, it's as easy as that, because I've built this strong habit for myself because I created it as simple as possible. So why is knowing this important for saving money? Well, most people who start saving more money either go all in and become as frugal as they can be and start saving all of their money, or never really start the habit of saving altogether. And like we talked before, it's because they're making it too hard for themselves. They tell themselves that they're gonna stop spending all more money, not buying any more random stuff, they're gonna save more money on their bank account, will track all their expenses on a super, complicated Excel budget sheet tracker, and then they make it too hard for themselves. They make it so complicated that it's not fun, it's not easy, and yeah, they'd rather stay in their old habit. So let's bring it back to the behavior model again, but then with this saving money habit. Let's have a look how motivated you are when you want to save more money. Probably you have a goal, you want to either buy a new car, buy a house, or just want to save for your retirement. So is your motivation quite high? Yeah, pretty much in the beginning, your motivation is high because you have something you want to do. And in theory, you could do actually an activity that is quite hard because you are above the action line. Like you have a high motivation, so you could do a pretty hard task to succeed. You could start saving all of your money or really use an expensive budget tracker because you are motivated to figure it out. But as soon as you start this new habit, your motivation is going to crumble. You feel like you're not enjoying your life anymore. You're just saving all your money. You cannot buy any fun stuff. You don't even be able to buy coffee outside anymore. Or the budget app that you actually downloaded is way too complicated and it's just giving you a headache. And that's the moment where your motivation goes lower, but your ability still stays high, so it falls under the action line, and then you will stop your habit. So when your motivation goes low, the first thing you have to do is make your action step also smaller. We have to make it easy to save more money. So let's do that. Let's do a quick exercise on this. So let's say you want to build this habit of saving money, or if you have any other habit you want to build, you can also use this exercise exactly on that. But let's keep it for now for saving more money. So how can we make it easier for you? Well, first, let's see what habits can actually save you more money. You can start tracking all your expenses. You can put all your money in, in an investing fund or a retirement fund. You can put your money into savings. You can stop buying random stuff. So all of them can really help you save more money. And let's pick one of them, for example, tracking your expenses. Instead of making the habit too hard for yourself and trying to track all your expenses in a super complicated budget tracking app, let's make it super easy. What could be the easiest thing to do to start tracking your spend? Well, you might just want to write down one expense you did every single day. Just one. The goal would be then just to look at your finances, look at one expense you have, and either put it in a simple budget app or even on a piece of paper. The only thing you're trying to accomplish here is getting into the habit of tracking your expenses and just putting one expense on a sheet of paper. And if you want to do more than one, be my guest, you can definitely do more. But the goal is not even to do more. The goal is just to do one expense every single day. And let that be your habit for starting saving more money. Just putting one expense into a budget app or something, or just a piece of paper. And that way you start your journey to saving more money by starting super small. Now, what I always also like to do when I'm building a new habit is to put a place and time where I'm actually going to execute the habit. Because it's one thing of choosing a habit and knowing what you want to do, but we also have to figure out when and where, because that's going to actually ingrain the habit even faster. So to create any new habit, we have to create something that BJ Fogg calls prompts. And these prompts are just kind of a reminder for you to do the habit you're trying to build. For example, BJ Fogg in the book Tiny Habits, he actually does 2 push-ups after he goes to the toilet. So of course he washes his hands and everything, but then he actually does 2 push-ups. And sometimes it's even more than 2 push-ups. Sometimes he goes to 10 or 15. But the whole goal for him is after he goes to the toilet or to the bathroom, he does 2 push-ups. So he picked the habit that he already had and put the other habit that he wanted to build on top of that. And he used going to the bathroom as his prompt. So when can you do the habit? When can you start tracking, one expense a day? Are you someone who watches Netflix after a long day of work? Maybe you can do one expense just before you take the remote to watch some Netflix. That way you also actually create a reward system for yourself once you do the habit. So before you want to start watching Netflix, you actually go to your phone or whatever budget app you have, or like a piece of paper, and you write down one expense you had today. And then you take the remote and actually watch. Or are you someone who cooks and sometimes needs to wait a couple of minutes before your food is ready? Maybe you can do your one expense just in between the moment where you're waiting until your food is ready. Just using that gap, using that prompt of cooking your food to put your expense into your sheet. This will be different for everyone. Everyone has kind of different prompts, but think of one habit that you're already doing. It's actually just a routine that you're doing every single day, and see where you can put this new habit to. You can either do it before the habit that you want to do, or you can do it after the habit. The biggest priority for you is just getting that one expense in a sheet of paper. And it sounds pretty simple, right? And you're thinking right now, how can this help me save more money? How can this make me a person who has more money? But what happens when you do one expense a day on a sheet of paper, you're actually showing up as someone who is aware of his financial situation and who wants to save more, who is someone who saves more. You're casting a vote for the person that you're trying to become and the behaviors that you're trying to do. And often what we always say is habits travel in packs. So when you start doing one habit that is casting votes for the identity you want to become, like for example, tracking one expense every single day, eventually that habit trickles down to more habits. You start spending less at the grocery store, you start, being better in your personal financing, you start maybe investing more into stocks or other stuff. It just trickles down because you started this momentum going. You're really starting to become a new person. Even though at the moment of doing just that one expense, you don't feel like you're moving forward. You're doing more than trying to go all in and saving all your money and failing after a couple of days. Because if you can do this for the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you have built a consistent habit and you've become someone who saves more money and who is more aware of his personal finances. So awesome, guys. So today we discussed, how you can save more money and how to actually build any kind of habit. So if you haven't already, really think of a habit that you're trying to build. This might be, saving more money, but it also might be something else like in your health or your career. And really think about how can you make that one habit as simple as possible and attach that habit to another habit, to create that prompt system and go after it and reward yourself afterward. And I see you guys next time.